Thank you, Melanie, for being with us today. I really appreciate your time. We just have a few questions about your experience with Fusion and Max's experience with Fusion. So first off, would you mind telling me briefly about your family story?
Sure. Max has given us a run for his money since the day he was born. He was a premature kid. And we had a lot of bumps in the road the first year of his life, medically that were challenging and emotionally challenging. And he struggled once he started preschool. He would, well, first of all, I mean, he was this, though he was struggling with his health, he also had this part of himself that we could see he was an incredible learner, and he excelled at learning at a very young age. And so we were so excited to put him into school because we could see that learning made him so happy. And it was also a very calming thing for Max. And he felt that he had a strength in that area. You could tell it from the time he was a toddler. And so we were super psyched, and we could not have run to preschool faster. And when we got there, it was shocking because he struggled from a social emotional standpoint. And he also struggled with his health. And we were watching these other kids get a cold and come back a week later, and our son would get the cold and he would get pneumonia and he would end up in the hospital. And then, we would see another kid get the flu and they'd be back in 7 to 10 days. And Max would get the same flu and he would be out for 6 weeks. And this was over and over and over and over and over again. And meanwhile, you had a little kid who was kind of upset and angry and easily frustrated because he never felt good. And we could not figure out what was going on. And finally, it took many years, but starting at age 2.5, they started following him for what they suspected was an immune deficiency. And by age 5, he was finally diagnosed with a primary immune deficiency disease. He does not make the proper amount of antibodies to fight illness. And so at age 5, finally, we kind of stopped running into a brick wall regarding his health and trying to get to school and trying to get to therapies and all these things that required exposure to people, therapists, teachers, kids. We decided to kind of stop for a minute and take a breath. It was by the advice of a neurologist that was overseeing him at the time. And she had said she was concerned that Max was going to sort of associate school with this feeling of being frustrated and not feeling well. And so we made the really tough decision at age 5 to homeschool him. So he started homeschooling at kindergarten. It was his first homeschooling year. And he has been homeschooled due to his health impairment until we found Fusion.
When you began your search for a school, what were you looking for in a school environment?
So, super good question. The best way to describe Max now, so as a preteen, is he still has this amazing curiosity for learning. He is, I would say the best way to describe him would be a kid who is twice exceptional. He's very gifted and he's very excelled in certain areas of academics. Crazy so. But he also, just like his history has outlined for many, many years, has other parts that are a bit of a struggle and a significant struggle. So he is definitely a kid who has so much capability, but can be misread because of the things that are still challenging for him. So I've always wanted for Max, through my eyes, to be seen as this, really bright kid who has so much potential. And I really, really have tried for many, many years to focus on that, because academics are Max's thing. And he can't play in sports with other kids because of his impairment. And he can't do a lot of things in large crowds and all those sorts of things. So we've tried to really build his confidence through learning, because we know that he finds his groove there. And so we started looking for programs where that accelerated learning and gifted part of learning could be within his reach and our family's reach, but also know that we could be honest about the things that he struggled with a little bit more, and that not every kid, they've got little, they've got little holes, and they've got, certain, they have a journey, and sometimes things need to be brought up, and we need to then celebrate the things that they do well in. So it was completely out of the blue, but we received the information about Fusion, which was just opening in Scottsdale, from another school that was here locally within the greater Phoenix area, that they thought, after speaking to us about Max's story, that it might be a unique fit for him, and suggested that we come to meet with you guys. So when I came to visit, the first thing I thought of is, wow, my son would have this opportunity to continue one-on-one education, which is so ideal for the type of learner that he is. He does have learning differences for sure. And I think the individual attention is something that is really important to my husband and I. And so that was an attractive part of what Fusion offers for sure. But I think, when you come to a school and you're going through an admissions process and you're speaking with the administration staff at Fusion, you guys talked initially about your philosophy of, is it love, motivate, teach? Yeah, love, motivate, teach. And those could just be words, right? But what we have found is that they're not. And it is absolutely the way that Max is being treated in the classroom, outside the classroom, in the activities, from the administration staff. So just from the perspective of a parent, any parent, not only a parent in our situation, but any parent, I think I think that Max feels at Fusion, because it is small, it is intimate, the teaching is being done one-on-one. But then the social piece was also something we were looking for within an environment that was overseen by administration, by teaching staff, to create some kind of relationships with others, and for him to just sort of find his groove in growing up, in becoming a teenager, and for us to be able to let go a little bit and to celebrate him being able to become independent. And I did not expect for it to be the way it was for him so quickly. And I'm very thankful to the staff at Fusion, the administration staff, the teachers in particular. Just what we have seen is, you've got a kid who feels that everyone knows his name, they know what his interests are, they comment on his unique and quirky style, he thinks about what he's going to put on to go to school. He's never cared about that. He's never cared about that. And just as a mom, I'm sitting there going, this is what a 13-year-old is supposed to be doing, he wants to show up at the activities because he thinks that Keegan is so cool, and he thinks that Dwight is so awesome, and he wants to be there because he feels from them that he matters, and that him showing up matters, and that his homework matters, and that how he does matters. And for the first time yesterday, he had a little hiccup in his homework, and he says to me, Mom, I didn't read my homework assignment the way that I should have, but Dwight really thought that what I did was super cool and creative. And so he totally celebrated it, and it's totally fine because I got an okay grade, but I'm going to redo it on Monday the way I should have done it. But he wasn't made to feel bad about it, or, like that Dwight celebrated that. And, I thought, well, that's such a great way, to look at it and to let him learn from that experience too. And he's never had the opportunity to make his own way, to make his own path. And so what we were looking for was an intimate teaching environment. What we found was a one-on-one teaching environment. So that was amazing. And then what we were hoping for, just because of the lack of social opportunity in his life, that we would be able to have some sort of social experiences incorporated with that. And what we have found is this wonderful teaching staff, incredible administration staff that has made his world bigger. And he is surpassing all of our expectations in how he has responded to that. And I just, what we're starting to see at 12 years old, going on into 13, is we were starting to have some battles with homework. He'd feel bad about that battle. I'd feel bad about the battle. We were starting to see just a little bit of lack of motivation in his learning at home. And that made me sad because he's always been motivated to learn. And I thought, oh man, we're really getting into these teen years, and this is real, and it's going to happen for us too. And the second I saw it, I just wanted to hop on it and try to shift it. And what I think has happened in our choice of adding Fusion into his life is it's reignited his interest in learning, his curiosity, and that part of him that just has this endless search for knowledge. And all of a sudden I see that amazing heart and that amazing energy that Max has. I see that back in him, just in a 12 going on 13 version, but I see that back in him, and it has reignited that spark. And that's without a doubt the most priceless part of this.
How has Max's self-esteem changed since being at Fusion?
So, a lot. The first week he was at Fusion, he came home, Mom, Mr. Pat told me that he liked my shirt. Mom, Mr. Pat told me that I look so sharp today. Right. His teacher Dwight had said something about how he was doing so well within a language arts subject for his age, complimented him. Keegan, his science teacher, had made a comment about the fact that he was a funny kid. He held on to every one of these little words and little things that people said, the administration staff, the teaching staff. And this is a kid with limited people in his life, limited social opportunity, right? So he held on to all these little things that everybody said. And he just came home. I mean, he skipped through the door on this first week of school. He was so excited. I mean, it was crazy. And so as we have developed that trust and gone down the path now with the teachers and the administration, again, it really shocked us. One of the first things, Max came home a few weeks after he started, and he'd signed up for an open mic. And Michael and I, my husband and I, we were like, really? And well, what are you going to do? Oh, I'm doing stand-up. You had an interest in stand-up? Never knew. We did not know that. But I guess his teacher had talked to him about that. And well, Max, you're such a funny guy. Have you ever thought about doing stand-up? We have an open mic during lunch. And all of a sudden his mind opened up to this. Well, I want to try that. Okay. So he came up with his own jokes, and he does this open mic, and he came home that day and he just ran through the door. He was so excited. He's never had anybody clap for him or applaud for him. He's never done a report in front of a class before and gotten any accolades in that way. So to have these opportunities available to him have been life-changing for his confidence and his self-esteem at the exact right moment, as he's becoming a teenager. Um, I feel like he stands a little higher. He talks a little more confidently. I think he takes more pride in his homework because he really is doing it independently, but with the access of the homework cafe, which is sort of the just right challenge, I think, for him. Like there's someone there to help, but it's also my responsibility to get this done and to create that sense of independence. And I think that is confidence boosting, right? And great for his self-esteem as well. But I think he sees himself through the eyes of his teachers and through the eyes of the administration. And what the staff at Fusion has given him is a mirror, and he's looking at himself through you, through the staff there. And if I had to say, I mean, that's just been the best part of all this. My husband and I greatly improved his self-esteem and confidence. And I think that um, a lot of kids have sports and they have music and they have all these things. That's another thing to mention, is he the very this is a for the very first time, you are the staff is very, very good about talking about new things, new opportunities during this last semester, offering these activities before um, uh, uh, or during the lunchtime break. It shocked us that he's like wanted to try environmental percussion and some sort of online art class and all these things that are so out of his normal interests, right? And the other day, wouldn't you know, he asked Chelsea if he could do some research on online art animation for video games or something like this. And I caught him the other night just sitting there like researching Pixar and all of these things that he had gotten this idea from this activity just to spark an interest in a kid and make him think outside of his own box of interests, right? And I see that. He's like, Mom, they offer guitar. Mom, they offer acting. Mom, they offer, whatever it is. And I'm like, are you interested in taking an acting class? Are you interested in taking guitar? And he's never had those options in front of him. And he's really thinking about that. So we've asked him to kind of ponder, well, Max, if you want to take something outside the box, let's think about what you'd really want to look at. He spent time going through the list of the class offerings and things like that. And to us, that's also a sign of an increase in his self-esteem and confidence, that he feels confident and comfortable enough at Fusion to be willing to try something new and something that, is not some major strength or that he's known for, that he's willing to be a little, just a little willing to put himself out there, whether it's an open mic or guitar or whatever it is. And that's pretty cool to see, especially at that age group where it's a very sensitive time and they worry a lot about what other people think about them and they worry about being judged. And when he set up his jokes for open mic, I said, Max, do you want to practice with me? No, Mom, I got this. I'm good. Okay, well, that says it all, doesn't it? So.
Would you recommend Fusion to other families?
Oh my goodness, yes. Yes, I've actually talked to other families about our journey already at Fusion. There are so many kids. It's not, our journey of through special education and through the world of living with a health impairment, right? Though that's our journey and that's our story. But there are so many kids for so many different reasons that could excel within this environment. I think number one, no kid's going to get lost. I think that parents can know that it is a safe, small, intimate environment, especially in today's world. Parents worry about sending their kids to school for so many different reasons. And I think that knowing that you have a very intimate staff, a very intimate student body, where everyone does know your name, they know what you're interested in, they know what your journey is, they know your story. That it is a place that a kid won't get lost is an incredible thing for a family that is looking for that. And I think that there are also things within my child that I know that other people are concerned about for their own. The confidence, the self-esteem, we live in this world where there isn't always a lot of social opportunity for a child whose interests don't lie within sports. And there are so many kids who have interests now that are not within sports, right? So for Max, with his interest in technology and music and now art and all these sorts of things, the way that Fusion is structured for those opportunities, speech club, that Max is doing, and open mic and all of the things that you guys have coming down the pike. I think that it's a very unique fit and right fit for so many kids out there that are interested in a small, social, safe environment, as well as that individualized education, which we all know that a child is going to do better in a one-on-one setting. And to know that you are assured that your child is living up to their potential, because you've got a teacher right there who's going to know all kids have good days and all kids have bad days. But as they get to know them, they're going to realize that, and they're going to bring it to the parents, and everyone can work together within the administration, within the family, to make sure that that kid is not getting lost and that they're excelling at the rate that they should be, and I can see that being such a great fit for so many families for so many reasons. Not only for concerns that they have with their kids, but what they want to see for their kid ultimately in their life. And I think that what you're offering at Fusion is so special in so many ways, especially for the world that we live in today. None of us saw this coming, but even without this COVID piece, just it's for us in so many families, I can see it working as well, but for so many people, having this virtual component and the in-person component and the social component and just the accountability component, all those sorts of things, you guys are so on the right path for the evolution of education and where it needs to be. And you guys are living it. You're doing it now. And I think that as we watch so many things unfold in our world, I think there are going to be new concerns for parents that have always been my concern because of the hand that we were dealt. But now I see many parents having to think about those types of things and intimacy in their education. Maybe there's needs to always be a virtual component as an opportunity for every kid to learn, so that for whatever reason they're out of school, they're never at a loss for that. And here we are, and Max hasn't missed a beat, and we're 4 weeks into this crazy, journey that we're all on right now. He hasn't missed a beat. If anything, Chelsea's, checking up on his stuff and seeing that he's, if anything, he's just going along. So
that's so great. Yeah, we're really fortunate that Fusion is on the cutting edge with education.
For sure.
I mean, no school, and to no fault of their own, no school could have ever prepared for anything like this.
Never.
And I know a lot of schools were just struggling to meet the new demand of being online. But fortunately, Fusion has been teaching virtual classes for over a year. We've had the infrastructure in place. This wasn't something that was created out of necessity. All of our teachers are trained in the virtual platform. So we really were fortunate to have a seamless transition to 100% online with limited, interruption to the student experience. And so,
Well, that, and
um,
you're also doing so, to watch these social opportunities also available
yeah,
to the kids virtually, keeping them motivated, having it matter that they're there. You know, Max knows that people are counting on him, and he is looking at the clock. He doesn't want to be late. He's running to the computer, and that's right now, that's so important because everyone's days are running into the next. And so, I mean, Fusion right now, it's a gift anyway, but Fusion right now is even more important than it was 4 weeks ago, just as far as creating structure and um, a reason for a child to get up, be there, show up, be motivated, be excited, and I mean, they need.
sitting down with me. I appreciate it. So what is your favorite part of being at Fusion Academy?
Probably the fact that well, I think it's really nice there, and it's also a lot less distracting because, there's not like kids in the classroom and stuff like that. So it's a lot less distracting, but you still have the homework club so you can still socialize with people. And yeah.
Perfect. Do you look forward to going to school at Fusion?
Yeah, I do.
Cool. Do you look forward to seeing your teachers?
Yeah, I do. I
Awesome.
think I think definitely one of the other greatest parts of Fusion is definitely the teachers. The teachers are always really nice. So, yeah.
Good to hear. Awesome. Do you like being in a one-to-one environment with your teacher?
Yeah, I think that's a good quality of Fusion. That's a really nice quality.
Perfect. And are you enjoying the student activities like open mic?
Oh yeah, I really, that's actually one of my favorite things is definitely the open mic because I can write the scripts and stuff like that for it. So that's pretty cool. And
Perfect.
I think another reason why the kind of one-on-one is like a good thing for me is especially because of the primary immune deficiency condition. So that's really good for me. So yeah,
Absolutely. A smaller environment to keep you safe and
yeah.
awesome.